Hey guys, what's going on? This is RJ Game News USA, and I'm coming at you with sort of a passion project video of mine. I've had this in the works for a while, mentally, I'll say, when it comes to how I would change sports. Like, every sport, like, all the sports I watch, what I care about. How would I change the structure of their season, or change certain things that they do? And I just kind of wanted to put out a video with all the changes I would make. So again, I apologize if this video is lengthy, but I think it could encourage some good discussion in the chat if you're watching this by a premiere, or in the comments below after the video has been posted. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. So we're going to start with the NFL because it is my favorite sport. And it's the most popular sport in the United States. So, right off the bat, I would get rid of divisions. Now, some of you may be upset with that and love your division rivalries. I think it's boring to play the same team twice every fucking year. We can end that now. Number 2, get rid of preseason. We don't need it. Do an 18-game schedule, regular season schedule instead, and add an extra bye week. So 2 bye weeks, 18-game regular season schedule. It's a 20-week regular season. Their TV partners should be happy. And it gives us more games that actually matter. How would I structure this 18-game season, though? That leads me to number 3, which is you play 15 of your 18 games against the other teams in your conference. So, like, if you're in the AFC, and you will play your other 15 opponents that are in your conference, and you would play 3 games versus the NFC on a rotating basis. And you'll see why that's important here in a minute. Number 4, top 8 teams in each conference based off record make the playoffs with a fixed bracket like the NBA and get rid of the bye for the playoffs. So, basically, half the league will make the playoffs. You'll just do the top 8 by record. And you won't need the bye anymore. And it would be fixed bracket instead of reseeding every round. That reseeding every round really pisses me off because I think the NFL should really get into, like, filling out a bracket like your NCAA tournament for college basketball. And so they need to go to that. Just like hockey, just like basketball, just like every other sport has a fixed tournament bracket, not a reseeding bracket. Here's how tiebreakers work. Number 5. If 2 teams are tied for the same record, the head-to-head winner gets the tiebreak. And you will have a head-to-head winner because you play everybody in your conference at least once. Or just once, I should say. Number 6. If 3 or more teams have the same record, then point differential decides the tiebreak. Guys, after seeing point differential get completely shit on last season, I think that point differential should absolutely be the next logical tiebreak after head-to-head. It just makes sense to me. So if you got 3 or more teams that are tied up, just go to the point differential. Number 7, get rid of tie football games in general, and every game must have a winner. And make overtime alternate 2-point plays. So what the hell am I talking about? We don't get ties very often in the NFL, but it's annoying we could possibly get a tie. And we shouldn't. You shouldn't pay money to see a game that ends in a fucking tie. That's just the truth. What are the alternate 2-point plays? So think about what the UFL does. They have the shootout, sort of, where it's 3 plays, 2-point plays, back to back to back to back to back to back to back between the 2 teams. If you're still tied after that, then it works like sudden death, like extra innings. just alternate 2-point plays. Cut out the bullshit. If you're tied after 60 minutes, let's just try to get to a reasonable way to decide the winner where teams are touching the ball an equal amount of time. Alternate 2-point plays. Here's the big one for me. Put the kickoff back all the way to the 20-yard line with the old school run-up, and that will almost guarantee a kickoff return every fucking time. Because even if somebody boots that bitch 80-something yards into the other end zone, they're going to want to run it out because it's going to take a while for those guys to run down the field for field position. So I want to see super long-ass kickoff and kickoff returns return to the NFL again. And, you know, next thing up, the NFL's got to fix its challenge system. You need a sky judge. You need somebody that can overturn plays quickly. I think just having a challenge available if you have a timeout available makes sense. Otherwise, the sky judge should be able to overturn plays while the play clock is running for the next play. If they can't see a clear overturn before the ball is snapped, then the play continues on. That won't slow the game up at all. I want to get rid of international games too, if possible. But that's kind of all the fixes I had for the NFL. I had a lot of ideas and fixes for the NFL. College football, I don't really have a whole lot of fixes. I think they already fixed a lot of their problems. But one thing I would totally do is, for the college football playoff, just do a 16-team tournament with the top 16 teams in the AP poll. That's it. And the better seed gets home field advantage until you get to the championship game at a neutral site. That would be ideal. Don't put stupid-ass games at Orlando or places that, you know, aren't these big cathedrals of college football stadiums they have during the regular season. Let them play out in the playoffs. And you see sort of they almost went this way. They did it for the first round games. But to expand that to the entire playoffs, to not worry who's conference champions of who, because they keep switching conferences anyway, just do the top 16 in a playoff, fixed bracket, like it's NCAA tournament style, do it over 4 weeks, and lastly, get rid of the bowl games. Get rid of the other fucking bowl games. We don't need them, they're a waste of time. How I would fix baseball. Again, same thing as NFL and what college has already done. Get rid of divisions. We don't need divisions. Conferences are fine. Leagues are fine. Divisions need to go. They need to go the way of the dodo. And then, next up, I think baseball's got way too many fucking games. I understand it's going to screw up the records in some ways. But I think we need to go to a 116-game schedule. And it's real simple. You play the other 29 teams 4 times each. I also think you need to shorten the time frame on the regular season. So you play every day, right? But if you run the season from early April and you reduce it to these 116 games, it's over by late July, which means you could play your playoffs in August. Why would you want to do that when baseball traditionally plays its playoffs in September and October? I'll tell you why. Because it can't compete against the NFL. That's why. And I need something better to watch in August with my time. It's hard sometimes to squeeze in baseball playoffs when you already have NFL and college football going on in October. October is insanely fucking busy for sports. And baseball could have August all to themselves if they wanted. Next, top 8 in the AL and NL make the playoffs. Again, expanded playoffs. I think that first round, I really like what they did with the 3-game series being in one location, back to back to back. And I think after that, best 3 out of 5 for the next round, then 4 out of 7, then 4 out of 7. I think they're kind of onto something with that. Tiebreaker system, 2 teams tied for a spot. Tiebreakers head-to-head. After that, it's run differential if it's still tied, or if it's 3 or more, it's run differential. It's a very similar setup to what I said for the NFL. How I would fix the NBA. I would make all shots behind the half-court line worth 4 points. Why? Why isn't it? It's a half-court shot. Imagine you're down 4. I've seen this so many times. You're down 4 in a game with 1 second left, and everybody just stands around, and who cares? They can't make a 4-point play. Well, why can't they? If it's at the half-court line's there already, then any shot behind the half-court line should be worth 4 points. I think that makes sense. I think that'd be cool. Plus, who knows? Maybe Steph Curry gets a wild hair up his ass and pulls the trigger one time from half-court to try to get a 4-point play. But I think it'd be great for end-of-game situations. In fact, I think it was way back in the early 70s, Jerry West hit like a full-court shot. But because the 3-point line wasn't invented yet, it was still only worth 2 points. And I think it only tied the game, and then they ended up losing or something like that. So lame. Next, expand the regular season to 86 games. I know, boo-hoo, load management, whatever. 56 games versus in-conference opponents, 4 each. 30 games versus other conference opponents, 2 each. That's where you get the 86. That's really all the fixes I got for the NBA. Other than, how they call playoff games differently than regular season games. They let them play a little more loose, less fouls called. Do that for the entire fucking season, because it's just better that way. Alright. Next up, we got hockey. NHL. Get rid of divisions. Again, it's the theme of this thing. Regular season 92 games. I know that's a little more. 60 games in conference, 4 each. 32 games versus other conference, 2 each. And number 3, do away with the point system. Totally do away with that stupid point system for standings. Go to a simple wins and loss system like the other leagues do. And soccer needs to do that too. I'm going to get to soccer here in a second. But just go to the simple win-loss system, man, for the standings. And then, and the playoff seeding-wise, go back to the old number 1 to number 8 seeds like you used to, with head-to-head tiebreakers as tie breaks, followed by goal differential as tie breaks. There you go. And lastly, for hockey, all overtimes just need to go straight to shootouts. Guys, I do like those epic 3-4 overtime playoff games where, holy shit, if someone's finally going to score. For the sake of player safety, both in the regular season and in the playoffs, and because we're already expanding the season, it's okay to just... Shootouts are really fun, too. When you get to that 60 minutes, if you're still tied, just do the shootout. Just go straight to the shootout. And let's get this puppy over with. And that brings me to soccer, which I have similar issues with that I do hockey. Get rid of the point system for standings. Again, get rid of ties and draws. If you're still tied after 90 minutes, do the shootouts. Same deal. But there's plenty of different soccer leagues all over the world. And I'll say one of my criticisms are, why do you guys not do any playoff systems? You just do regular season. I'll use the Premier League as an example. You have 20 teams in the Premier League, I think, right? So you have 19 opponents. You play them home and away, so you play 38 games. And you decide a champion based off of points. How many wins, draws, losses you have. And whoever has the most wins the championship. You're telling me you can't just do just even one playoff game, one championship game. You can't just take the top two and make them go head-to-head. Like something exciting that the fans could get behind. I mean, I would do more than two. I would have a larger playoff system. But can we get something besides regular season? Just something. And almost all these European soccer leagues do that shit. I don't get it. Okay, I got something for tennis. When it comes to tennis, this is me more or less being upset at TV programmers in the United States. So they do a good job of showing us the majors, okay? Now you can get the French Open on TNT, which is great because Tennis Channel sucks. I don't have the Tennis Channel. But you get the French Open on TNT, you get Wimbledon, US Open, and Australian Open all on ESPN. Cool. That's great. That's a lot of tennis for 8 weeks of the year. But what about all the other tennis tournaments going on? You're telling me, I know Tennis Channel exists, but where? You know what I mean? Like, you really gotta order that shit. But you're telling me that ESPN2 can't put on the Geneva final? Like, at least show the finals on some ESPN2 channel or something. That would be great. That would be nice. You know, think about it. We get a shitload of golf every fucking week, right? There was 2 different golfing events on today. When at the time that's recording, the Senior PGA Championship was on NBC, and Charles Schwab was on CBS. You're telling me that you can't do tennis at all, even on an ESPN2? Like, is tennis that less popular than golf in the United States? Maybe, I guess. But I think tennis needs more TV coverage beyond just the majors. I'm happy with what they do with the majors, but they need more TV coverage like golf gets. I mean, at least a little bit. Even if it's not on a major network, on a network that's ESPN2 even. Would be nice. Other than that, I don't have any complaints about tennis. I think tennis is awesome. And doing a great job. So, that also brings me to boxing, since we're talking about TV partners and whatnot. You know, boxing is in a terrible state right now, especially like heavyweight boxing. Nobody gives a shit. It is time to take that off pay-per-view. Seriously, take it off pay-per-view. If you start putting on Friday night or Saturday night fights onto TV, like ESPN or ABC or something like that, that should reignite the joy for boxing. I'm talking about your best of the best, your creme de la creme. Get it the fuck off pay-per-view, where everybody's just pirating it anyways, and put it in front of an audience that might watch by the millions and even get reinvested in boxing again. That would be a good idea. I certainly think in some ways we need more boxing on TV than pro wrestling. We have so much pro wrestling on television, we're drowning in it, but we can't get a single morsel of real boxing, like real heavyweight boxing on television. They want you to pay like $100 for a pay-per-view. It's bullshit. I think that might be all my grievances. I don't think I have anything for racing. I just don't really watch racing all that much. Yeah. I don't think I have too many other grievances. I think that about covers it. Because I just think, big picture wise though, I'm pretty happy with how the state of sports right now in America. I just would change some of the TV packaging. There's some things that bother me with playoff seedings or certain rules that I would change. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy about things. This is just my own personal wish list. And if you actually made it this far in the video and actually cared to watch my entire wish list of what I would change about sports, then I appreciate you very much. And thank you for being on the channel. So, yeah. Like the video on the way out, and I will see y'all later.